Last time I did this, I wasn't fully on the screen, so I apologize for that. All right, there we go. Okay, so thank you guys for making the live broadcast. Thank you, Brother James, for being in here. I want to briefly talk about some things that we are facing as a people in this country and give you a solution that we are working on in the Black Gold Movement and some things that we need to do to ensure that we are going to win moving forward. My name is Tamani M. Wandani. I am a contributing member to the Black Gold Nation. The Black Gold Movement is an effort to build a Black Gold Nation. I've been doing this for almost since 2016 November. So 3 years plus. We've been working to organize Black people nationwide so that we can build something for ourselves, something that's going to have influence, value, and power, something that's going to be able to protect our people against everything that has been systematically developed to keep our people in a second-class status of living. So I want to give you some of the realities of what it means to be Black in America right now in 2019. And I also want to then give you a very concrete, a very realistic solution of the things that we can start doing right now to ensure that everything that's happening in America that is not looking good for us, we can actually start organizing ourselves to prepare for what's coming and what is happening, and begin to put ourselves in a different position moving forward. So I'm going to give you a brief list of what it means to be Black in America in 2019 and what we're up against. And then I'm going to give you the Black Gold Nation solution as to what we can do, what we're going to start doing to organize ourselves to push back against these very real threats. If you know anything about me, about the Black Gold Movement, about the Black Gold Nation, and what I've been trying to do, most of this will not be new, although the event that we are proposing, that we're about to start organizing for, it's a new event, but it's the same thing that we've been trying to do from day one, which is bring like-minded Black people together that will allow us to do what we need to do for our people moving forward. So what it means to be Black in America in 2019. These are some of the facts about our lives right now in America and around the world, and what we're facing. The bottom 50% of Black households are worth less than $1. This is our Black reality in 2019 moving forward. The bottom 50% of Black households are worth less than $1. We have more African American men in prison in the U.S. than any other country worldwide collectively. Black farmers are still being discriminated against, which means they can't get their crops to market like white farmers can because the USDA is still discriminating against them. Automation, AI, artificial intelligence, and machine language is projected to replace millions of jobs over the next 6 to 8 years. And a lot of those jobs are held by Black, brown, and poor white people. The White House has just removed 3 million people from the food stamp rolls. And most of us may know that although there are more white people on food stamps than Black people, there's still a large number of our people that are on food stamps, which means they rely upon the American government to eat. There's purge activity nationwide in this country. If you have not seen the movie The Purge, it is simply about America allowing people to do whatever they want to do for one night a year, which includes rape, murder, assault, or whatever. The activities in that movie are actually happening in cities nationwide, from kidnappings to people's organs being missing once they're found, if they're found, to assassinations of judges and lawyers, high-profile lawyers, crimes being committed by white people as they dress up with Hollywood-style masks and gloves to look like a Black person, but they're committing these crimes, and these are white people. Crates of weapons being dropped off in the community, people committing crimes to pit one group of Black person against another. This kind of activity, which is in the movie The Purge, is happening nationwide in Black communities across this country. Add that to the reality of being Black in America in 2019. We have over 100 conservative think tanks thinking about how to secure and maintain white supremacy and white power, white supremacy and white power. White people being paid very good money to think about maintaining their status of living. And as always, that power is never shared. That power is not given. They're not thinking about how to share power with you. They're not thinking about how to give you that power. They're thinking about how to keep it, which is, of course, will not work if they don't keep us in a second-class status of living. We are up against a criminal justice system that's 100% unjust when it comes to us, our poor people, a bail bond system that has proven itself to be a total ripoff and unjust, an education system that does not properly educate and has not been properly educating for a very long time, if ever, when it comes to us, a school to prison pipeline that is very alive, very well, and producing as it was designed to produce, a multi-billion-dollar prison industrial complex that you can buy stock in and that's privately owned, redlining, gerrymandering, and gentrification, which is political power at its finest, working against us. Over 900 white supremacist organizations, many of whom are preparing for a race war. This list is, of course, not exhaustive. It's not complete. And it's just 14 things that we are facing in this country as Black people. The reality of being Black in America is different than being anything else. And what we're saying in the Black Gold Movement is that if we are going to win, if we're going to be able to survive with some level of dignity, if we're going to be able to organize ourselves and move forward in any fashion at all, we're going to have to do some things to put ourselves in that position. No one is coming to save Black people. Nobody is coming to save the Black community. Nobody is going to give us what we need to better ourselves. So it is most certainly on us, as it has always been. And what I am proposing, what we're proposing in the movement, is yet another opportunity that we could take advantage of that can put us in a position to win. So what we're going to do, see, it is July, October, I think it's October 16th. No, October 19th. August, September. Yeah, October. I'm gonna say September 21st. That gives us 2 months, a little less than 2 months. Yeah, I may change the date, but as of right now, we're gonna say September 21st. We are hosting an event that we're calling a Survival Summit. We're calling this thing the Black Gold Nations, Black Church, and Black Organization Survival Summit. We are focusing on Black churches and Black organizations because there are a lot of Black people that go to church and a lot of Black people that are, of course, in these Black organizations. We don't want to exclude anybody. We want to include as many Black people as possible. As we all know, we have an overabundance of Black churches. I am not one of those persons that believe that everyone that goes to a church is lost. Everybody that goes to a church doesn't care. Everyone that goes to a church is disconnected. Everyone that goes to a church does not want to be involved in moving Black people forward. I do not believe that. Of course, there are people in Black churches who may not agree with this list, despite the fact that it's all true, but that's okay. There are Black people in Black organizations that wouldn't agree with this list being entirely true. And there are Black people walking around every day that aren't a part of any organization or any church that won't believe that this list is true. That's not the point. The point is that we need to align ourselves with Black people who see it and want to do something about it. And by targeting Black churches and Black organizations, we can put ourselves in a position to find those persons who not only know what's going on, but have some skills and expertise to push back. And of course, those persons that we need to be a part of this movement moving forward. No movement moves without people. And of course, this movement is no different. So we're going to have the Black Gold Nations, Black Church, and Black Organization Survival Summit. The subtitle of the event will be an online event to nationally organize for local action to ensure our survival. The list that I just read for you, again, is not an exhaustive list. It is not a complete list, but it is a very real list that details what we're facing in America moving forward as a people. And if we don't put things in place to protect ourselves against the results of this list being true, then again, we are running the risk of becoming a permanent underclass in this country or worse. So we want to focus on finding the people in the community that are ready to do something. And we believe that those persons are in Black churches. We believe that those persons are in Black organizations. And we believe that those persons are out in the community. They may not be a part of anything, but if given the opportunity, they will join something that will allow them to put in and move our people forward. So the purpose of this event, the purpose of the Black Gold Nations, Black Church, and Black Organization Survival Summit, the purpose is to implement a 100-year plan that deals with the survival, advancement, and prosperity for Black communities in America and in the diaspora, which is Black people worldwide. So we want to, again, find Black people nationwide who may not have a concrete, in-depth understanding of this list, but they understand that things aren't going well for us and they want to do something about it. And by having this event, we're going to put ourselves in a position to bring together these people to strategize on the best way to go about making change for our people moving forward. Now, if you know anything about the Black Gold movement, you've heard me talk about the Black Gold Leadership Election, which is a history-making event that we had last year. Well, actually, it was the year before last. Our overall goal when we first got this thing started was to build a nation within a nation. And as you know, no nation can be without leadership. But we have a different definition of what leadership means or what it should mean for our people moving forward. We don't believe that we should just give a Black person the title of leadership because he or she can maneuver the white man's political system. Nor do we believe that we should give a Black person the title of leadership just because he or she can give a good sermon or a good speech. That's not enough for us moving forward in 2019. We believe that the title of leadership should only be bestowed upon those persons who have proven themselves capable of helping us push back in the different ways that we're being targeted for destruction. Wherever our communities are being targeted and or are deficient is where that leadership should come from. And those persons who have that proven expertise and are willing to teach people on the ground how to do, those persons are the ones that we give the title of leadership. So there are a lot of things that we're going to focus on, but primarily we're going to focus on 5 areas during the Survival Summit. Those 5 areas are agriculture and agribusiness, because we have to find a way to feed ourselves independent of the American agricultural system. That's the first thing. The second thing is community economics. We have to find a way to capture the Black dollar and use those Black dollars, use that Black revenue, use those Black profits to put our people in a position to win. And we are going to aggressively target those businesses that are not owned and controlled by Black people that exist in Black communities. That is that low-hanging economic fruit that we can go after and get that represents hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the second thing. The third thing is we want to focus on community predation. There are predators that exist in and around every Black community in this country. If we don't target these predators, they will always be there. But of course, we want to have a new kind of Black community moving forward, which we cannot have if these predators exist. So we want to focus on community predation and policing so that we can identify the enemies and the threats so that we can deal with them. That's the third one. The fourth thing is ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, reparative justice, and political power. If we're going to change the power dynamic in our communities, we have to be politically organized and we have to be always moving forward. I am a believer and supporter in the ADOS movement. I believe that Brother Antonio Moore and Sister Yvette Carnell are on the right path. I don't agree with putting all of our eggs into this one reparations basket. However, that does not mean that we are not owed, and that does not mean we should not pursue what is owed. A part of the Leadership Summit is to focus on those things that we should be pursuing, but also focus on what if those things that we should be pursuing don't happen the way we want them to happen. We've been owed reparations for a very long time. The reparations argument is not a new one, but what if we don't get it, or what if it takes time to roll out in whatever fashion it comes, if it comes at all? We still need to be prepared for that, and we still need to act as if it is not going to happen and move ourselves forward. And the fifth thing that we want to focus on with the Survival Summit is the opportunities that exist for ourselves here in America, as well as our people in Africa. We want to focus on the opportunities in most of you may not know that there's just been a 55-nation agreement from the African Union to create a trade agreement amongst all the nations in Africa to do business with one another. That can not only be huge for Africans in Africa, but it could benefit us as well as we work with our brothers and sisters abroad to ensure that we both rise at the same time. The melanated population of the world outnumbers the non-melanated population of the world 7-1. If we only did business with ourselves, we would be just fine. But of course, to do that, we need to have certain things in place. So again, there are a lot of things that we have to focus on. There are a lot of things that we have to do, but we want to start with this Black Gold Nation, Black Church, and Black Organization Survival Summit, because we want our people to know that survival is not guaranteed. We want our people to know that the American dream was never meant for us. We want our people to know that we have enemies. We have threats that we are facing that we have to confront. There are predators that exist in and around every Black community in this country. But we also want our people to know that we have everything we need to move ourselves forward. We have everything we need to take care of ourselves and build our own thing. But if we don't connect with one another, if we don't organize ourselves with one another, we will never win. Black people have the answers that Black people need. And Black people simply need to come together and make sure that the answers that we need, we are giving them to our people. So we, from now until we have the leadership summit, the survival summit, we are going to be recruiting and interviewing Black people who already have solutions to the very things that we are facing moving forward. As I said, the Black Gold Nation, we had the Black Gold Leadership Summit 2 years ago, and out of that, we have of our 19 departments, we have leadership in 11 of them. We have leadership in business development domestically in the U.S. We have leadership in agribusiness, domestic policy and sustainability, economics and finance, education, foreign policy, national security, information technology, media marketing and public relations, spiritual health and well-being, and infrastructure and construction. Since we already have leadership in those areas, since we already have solutions that we want to roll out to Black people in those areas, we will simply be looking for people who also have expertise in those areas to assist these departments in what we're trying to do moving forward. We don't have to we have to create solutions for our people because there are Black people out there who already have these solutions. We simply need to find them, connect with them, and put all of our national resources behind them moving forward. The areas that we do not have leadership in, that we need leadership for, is business development internationally, intelligence, politics, cultural affairs and diplomacy, employment and training, health and nutrition, and legal. So if you or someone you know has expertise in those areas, and they are a conscious Black person that understands the reality of being Black in America, they are ready, willing, and able to lead in those areas, they are ready, willing, and able to train Black people in those areas, then we need to have a conversation with that person, because we want them to also be a part of the movement and do a brief presentation during the Survival Summit. The way that we want to roll this thing out right now, the way it is in my head, is that I am going to give an overall brief presentation on the reality of being Black in America and what the movement is doing. After that, we're going to have different people from different departments do a brief presentation, 2 or 3 minutes about their department. And then we're going to break off into specific groups nationwide to talk about the different things that we need to do moving ourselves forward. This is not a strategizing kind of event. This is an event that's designed to bring Black people in and allow them to hit the ground running with the solutions that have already been presented to them by the people who are over these different departments. Again, very real issues that we're facing in this country, that if we don't organize ourselves against, we are most certainly going to continue to lose, and we will not be in a position to move our children forward and take care of ourselves and produce as we need to produce. So I'm thinking it is going to be, September 21st, which is 2 months from now. We're going to have the Black Gold Nation, Black Church, and Black Organization Survival Summit for the purpose of focusing on those things that are destroying our communities so that we can organize ourselves to push back against those things. You will hear me talking about this more in detail leading up to the event. But again, the idea is that all we have is one another, but all we have is all we need. Black people are not intellectually deficient. Black people are not economically deficient. Black people are not intellectually deficient, and we are most certainly not spiritually or physically deficient. Every single thing we need to organize ourselves and push back against the very real threats against our lives, we have all that. We simply need to be organized and connected that will allow us to do what we need to do moving forward. And the good news for us is that everything we need, Black people already have, Black people are already doing. We just need to make sure that we can find those persons and put the national Black community behind their efforts that many of them are already doing, so that they can continue to be bigger, better, and stronger in that area, which will allow us